I work with a lot of new weightlifters, and I see many of the same problems when it comes to mobility and stability. I see many of the same limitations when it comes to getting into good positions in order to perform the lifts safely and efficiently. A lot of those problems we can address with some really smart accessory exercises. My name is Julia, and I'm here to show you some of my favorite accessory exercises that I use with new novice weightlifters to address some of the unique mobility and stability demands of the Olympic lift. These are my top 5 favorite accessory exercises for new weightlifters. So when new weightlifters come into the sport and we have to assess them, really 3 of the big things that I look at are overhead mobility, hip, knees, general squat mobility, and trunk stability. And I find that athletes tend to kind of live in one camp. Either they are insufficiently mobile and we really need to spend some time on their flexibility, or they are insufficiently stable, might have some mobility, but don't know how to really create a sound structure within that. In either case, the Olympic lifts require you to have a good deal of both mobility and stability. So the following exercises are here to address those issues as efficiently as possible. Hey, by the way, if you want a breakdown of weightlifting technique, then definitely check out my free weightlifting guide. Numero uno, my favorite exercise to work on overhead mobility and the ability to stabilize load overhead is a half kneeling landmine press with a lean. I love this one because it's a really great introduction to overhead pressing for athletes who can't overhead press at all, right? If they can't get their arm by their ear, that bicep even close, then they're gonna start with a slight angle, and this allows them to at least gradually work their way up to getting that arm closer to their ear as you're loading it, but also hopefully doing other things to improve their mobility, right? It's not a standalone thing. It should be part of a comprehensive program, but it's a really great way to build up that confidence of getting and supporting load overhead. My second favorite exercise for new weightlifters is a double dumbbell upright row. So hopefully we know that shoulder rotation from internal to external is a really important part of the Olympic lifts, and strengthening those particular ranges of motion is going to be really helpful to maintaining some good shoulder health as that athlete moves into more and more dynamic movements. I like the dumbbell version as opposed to just a bar, which they can also still do because it allows them to load it unilaterally if they need to, and generally people are just a little more comfortable with dumbbells if they are brand new to moving a bar around. P.S. Snatch grip is like way awkward for people with limited shoulder rotation when they're brand new. So a narrower grip, like a clean grip or a dumbbell version, is a really great way to build up that shoulder stability, build up the strength in that range of motion before they get into the more complicated grip of a snatch grip. So the ability to squat easily to full depth is obviously, if you're involved in the sport, a really important part of weightlifting. We need to have really good squat mechanics. And I find that in a lot of beginners, one of the biggest limiting factors to their ability to do so is going to be ankle mobility, which is like so obnoxious, so hard to improve. It takes diligence, and I found it takes load. So if you are consistently doing some soft tissue work, right, rolling out your calves, doing some calf stretches, maybe doing some tib strengthening, right, really working on getting your toes to be able to flex towards the front side of your shin, then my next favorite thing to do is something called a knees over toes split squat, because we can load it. What I really love about this lunge variation is it's kind of a twofer. One, you're getting some good hip flexor stretching on that back leg by allowing it to lengthen forward. You're teaching, this is the other fur, you're teaching the knee to go forward past the toe. So if you're working with beginners who have this wild, ridiculous idea in their mind that their knee shouldn't go past their toes, this is a really great way to introduce that range of motion and be like, this is safe. This is okay. You can do this. We probably just need to strengthen your ability to do so. You might find that initially they can't keep their heel on the ground on that front foot, and that's okay. Still encourage that range of motion, and eventually heel to the floor. The other big limitation that I find when it comes to squat specific mobility is either inflexibility in the hip and or probably some combination of the inability to maintain a fixed and firm low back, right? They can't always maintain that good, strong low back position. So my favorite drill to help them work on that is a seated good morning. That one's really great because not only is it working that hip mobility in terms of stretching those adductors, but because the bar's on that athlete's back, and that might be something new, it allows them to learn how to extend their upper back. T-spine stability and extension is like wildly huge. So this exercise is really great, makes its way into my programming a lot, whether they're beginners or not, because it just hits so many things all at once. We're getting spinal stability, we're getting core, we're getting hip mobility, we're getting some hamstrings, we're getting adductors. There's a lot going on. Last one, number 5. I find a lot of beginners really struggle to understand how they're using their trunk, their core, their midline, whatever you want to call it, as a bridge between their lower body and their upper body. So helping them understand how to really create stability and balance is a really important part of core training early on in an athlete's development. Obviously, learning how to brace properly is super duper important, and that's a big part of teaching beginners. But one of my favorite core exercises for novices that includes some load that they have to stabilize is going to be a bird dog row. I mean, there's shoulder stability, there's contralateral movement, there's load bearing, there's balance, there's isometrics. There's just so much going on that can really provide the athlete a lot of feedback. And that's one of the things I really love about it, is because they have so many points of contact, it really helps them learn quickly what to do with their core. Hey, by the way, if hip mobility and back stability is something that you struggle with, maybe you've had some back discomfort in the past, then check out my Back to Strength guide as a really great starting point to come back to that. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Those are my top 5 favorite accessory exercises for new weightlifters to help improve their stability, their mobility overhead, in the squat, and in their core. See you on the platform.